welcome to the Neoprene Playmat. I'm your host, Matt, and today we're laying it all out. So you might be asking yourself, well, what does that mean? What does it mean when we lay it all out here? Well, essentially, it's when I take some issue in the board gaming world or something that, some common practice, and I break it down and I lay it all out, and I air my grievances with it, or maybe you could say I get on my soapbox and talk about it. Whether I'm proclaiming something large, criticizing something, I kind of do it all here. I just try and get into the nitty gritty, to the finer details of things, and I try and put it all out there. So today I wanted to talk about the idea and concept of gateway games. So to provide a little bit of context, if you haven't heard that term before, a gateway game is often referred to as a lighter game that's used to get people into the hobby. The idea is if you show somebody that has never played games like hobby games before, if you show them one of these games, it's a good game, it's easy to pick up, and they'll be able to learn it rather quickly, they'll enjoy it, and then from there they will be spun into the world of games somehow. They will see that, they'll be excited by it, and they'll say, ooh, this is a hobby game. What other hobby games are out there? Maybe something a little meatier, maybe something a little bit different, maybe a different theme, things like that. It makes them curious about the hobby. Now, I gotta put it straight here when I'm talking about this. I don't mind any game that is classified as a gateway game, but I do have some issues with the term gateway game in general. And some of you might be thinking, oh, maybe his problem with it is that gateway game comes from the idea of a gateway drug, right? And so I don't like that affiliation. That really doesn't have a lot to do with it. But the principle actually is much related to that. So when somebody talks about a drug as a gateway drug, what they're usually talking about is it's a smaller, less significant substance that then leads to greater substance abuse. It's a slippery slope, if you will. The gateway drug is what gets them into the world of drugs and gets them hooked, and then they start moving on to grander things. And this is my problem with classifying certain games as gateway games. When we do that, what we're saying is this is the small stuff, the stuff of low substance, the stuff that's not really a big deal. But then after you're exposed to it, then you're going to be able to get to the big stuff, the meaty stuff, the stuff I want you to play with me. And rather than just saying, hey, this is a really good light game, I think it's okay to see another person that's never played games before and say, okay, don't think I should start with Lisboa. It's okay to say that I don't need to start with, Lorenzo Il Magnifico. It's perfectly okay to take a lighter game and show people the hobby that way. But when there's this idea that after I show you this game, you're then going to want to go on this journey with me, you're then going to want to play all of these heavier games with me, it's not right. It's misintention. Really, in the gaming world, it should be about having fun. And if playing lighter games leads to heavier games, then that's great. That's great. If the one playing the lighter games that hasn't been exposed to a medium game or a heavy game is saying, wow, this is an incredible experience. Is there something like this that offers something deeper and richer, or more full, more thinky, more puzzly? Is there anything like that out there? Then by all means, show them the games they want to play. But if your intention of showing them gateway games, as they're called, is to get them to play the games you want to play with them, like it's just this stepping stone, it's this necessary qualifying step that you have to put in there, you're not really valuing that game the way it should be. Games like Ticket to Ride, even Settlers of Catan, I know it gets a bad rap. I don't play it much. I probably haven't played it in 5 years, but I'll tell you what, I've played Catan pretty much more than most games on my shelf. I played it a ton in college, and I loved every minute of it. And that's mostly the reason I'm in the hobby today. And that's where people that use the term gateway game are saying, see, it was a gateway game. It you don't play it now, but it got you into the hobby. But I think that throws some shade on Catan, like its only value was that it brought me in, rather than saying it's a good game in its own right. Oftentimes, when we show people light games, there's a lot of people that just like light games. They're not looking for a medium or heavy thing, especially after a long day of work. Some people are. Some people like really diving into the nitty gritty after they've worked all day. But there's a lot of people that want something relaxing and chill. And if we put the importance of those games as stepping stones, we miss out on the fullness and the richness that is offered by each of those games individually. And for that reason, I've stopped using the term gateway. And I've been putting a lot of thought into it because I want a term that can be used for this. And I think a lighter game is just the terminology I'm going to use, because the weight of a game is not a value judgment. A light game isn't a bad game, and a heavy game isn't a good game. It's just about how much thinkiness goes into it. Because at first I was tossing around the idea of a beginner game or a starter game, but that has similar problems, right? If this game is considered a starter game, really its value is seen as where you begin, but not where you end. Personally, if everybody's having fun and everybody's enjoying themselves, I don't care if it's a light game, a medium game, or a heavy game. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's providing a quality experience for those at the table. Now, do I want games to offer more fun and be more engaging? Absolutely, throughout production and all of that. But when we take a game and we reduce it down to, this is a stepping stone, that's when we don't see that full value. That's when we don't see that a light game can be just as good as a heavy game. And so I guess I just wanted you to think about that today. Should we be calling these games gateway games? Should we be calling them starter or beginner games? Or maybe should we trend toward calling games just by how thinky they are? Light, middleweight, and heavy. Maybe middleweight could use a revision, but really thinking about kind of what their value is to the industry. And personally, I can think of a lot of people that are saying, I just want a light game. I don't want a medium or heavy game. And we shouldn't downplay that. We shouldn't say they're less of a gamer because they're stuck on gateway games. So that's it for today. Those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think about the terminology. Hit me up in the comments below. I'd love to dialogue with you. Otherwise, this has been the Neoprene Playmat. Have a great day.